What is going on with that? I'll take that. Sorry, Aquarius. A card stuck straight out, and I'm like, I'll go ahead and take that. But anyway, welcome to your August connection session. What is going on with my cards today? I guess I'll just take those too. I'm Princess India, if you knew. If you're family, welcome back, my friend. My apologies, Aquarius, that I'm having an argument with myself at the beginning of your reading. So what we're going to be looking at, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm about to get a Charlie horse in my foot. I don't know what's happening, Aquarius. Everything's going like bananas right now. But anyway, we're going to be looking at the energy between you as well as your person of interest. And then we're going to be getting into a more specific spread where we're going to be looking at how your person of interest thinks as well as feels about you. And I guess I'll say it early. We're also going to wrap up with the dice of resonance. So you can ask a yes or no question. Those of you who've been with me since 2019, y'all remember the dice of resonance. I done remixed them in the back. Okay, moving right along. Anywho, the overall energy representing Aquarius this month, interesting, is the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So in reference to your person of interest, Aquarius, I would say it's almost like a breakdown. I would say at one point in time prior to this particular point that we're at, you guys felt more of like an unbreakable bond with your person, almost having a perception towards them as if you could never see the two of you not being together, or the two of you not fraternizing and gallivanting and things of the sort. But I feel where it is that you guys are now, it's almost in a headspace to where you're kind of questioning this person, you're questioning the connection. And I think maybe for the first time in reference to this particular person, that you're starting to have some doubt of like wondering, is this really what I thought it was? Did I really feel what it is that I felt? Is this really my person? You know what I mean? Is this bond really as unbreakable as, I thought it was? So it's kind of like revisiting things. And the vibe I think of with this, also those of you who've been with me for a while, it's like if you think about twin flame kind of energy, like you remember when that was like the hot thing on the streets. So if you think about that, and if you were in a situation like that and you recall what it felt like to where like this person is your oxygen and you couldn't fathom life like without this person in it, it feels, not saying that you feel this person is your twin flame, but it feels almost to that caliber of how once upon a time you could not fathom life without this person, but now I feel like that's something that you're potentially considering right now. And I say considering because I don't necessarily feel that you guys are 10 toes down on it. I just, that's where you're at right now. Now your person of interest, ooh child, oops, we have the 10 of swords in the reverse. So, I mean, something interesting is both of you are in your heads about said situation, but you guys are in two very different places with it. With your person of interest, they're still very much stuck on this situation, this connection. I don't necessarily feel so, especially if you guys aren't communicating. Like if you guys are like, taking a break or whatever, or broke up, whatever, and allegedly moved on, your person isn't really over what happened between the two of you. And I really feel it's almost like they're emotionally stunted there, like stuck there. And I feel it's more or less with them treated into their mental space, like to protect themselves, you know what I'm saying? And kind of suppressing where it is that they are emotionally. But I mean, if you've had questions, this is just something I'm throwing out there. If you're having questions on if, they've moved on or if they're dealing, with other people, I can't say that that's not possible. However, what I can say is that they're not in a place, like if they are going on dates with people, they're not emotionally available or emotionally vulnerable with the other people, because they're not in a place for that. It's like they're still very much broken and haven't yet come to a place of, what's the word I'm looking for? Closure. They haven't come to a place of closure with you all's relationship, connection, however it is that you want to say it. So if you were to think about it this way, if you think about the day that you guys broke up, what they were feeling that day, it's the equivalent of them putting that in a Rubbermaid container and putting it like at the bottom of a deep freezer, right? So everything they felt that they is still very much fresh. It's still very much there. They're just retreating into their mental space and being very rational and logical about things and maybe going through the motions. I don't know why I feel so compelled to talk about other people, but if they are dealing with other people, they're just going through the motions. It's not anything where, they're falling in love again or anything, because they're still just as stuck as you are, to be quite honest. Now, the energy between the two of you, child, this is interesting. The energy between the two of you, oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Is the Justice card. This is weird. Okay. Weird, because the first thing that comes to my mind with this is like marriage. So I don't know if like maybe you guys are separated. I mean, not everybody, but I mean, some of you guys could be separated or going through like a divorce or may be divorced or something along those lines. But other than that, both of you are in the same place. I can say that for sure. Like there's a level of balance, not like, I don't want to say it like that because that sounds bad. I was about to say like, not like good balance, but I mean balance in the sense that both of you are in the same place. So I don't know, Aquarius, this is weird. How your reading started was weird because it just feels like the energy for me just sitting down to do this just feels very chaotic and scattered. You know what I'm saying? It feels very like, and I am ADHD in real life, but it feels very like unmedicated ADHD energy to me. But it's like both of you are in the same place, meaning that I feel like both of you are equally hurt. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like the only reason why I would feel so compelled to say that, because the person who is watching me would have questions in reference to that. So I really do feel this would be a couple where there's some sort of distance or a lack thereof of communication between the two of you. Like you guys aren't in communication. And I feel Aquarius or cross watcher has a lot of questions of, I mean, this is the best reading to watch if you want to know what's going on with the other person. But anyway, but you have a lot of questions in reference to where this person's head is at. Because I don't feel it's easily discernible. You feel what I'm saying? But I also have to say, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I also have to say with this Justice card, everything is how it is now because of a byproduct of choices and decisions that were made. I know that that is very simplistic. That is, duh, right? But I feel the need to say that to you guys. It's like where you and your person of interest are, it's the byproduct of choices and decisions that were made by both of you. It's not just one of you. It's not just stuff you've done, said, thought, whatever. It's not stuff that they've just said, thought, done, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You guys are where you are because a collection of choices and decisions were made on both sides, and this is the result of it. But I feel that there's some need, and I say you, Aquarius or cross watcher, because you're the one who's listening to me. There's some need to come to terms with that, because the energy that's pronouncing itself to me with this justice is like the interpretation of justice that's very much like reward and punishment. Like you do the crime, you do the time kind of energy. That's what's really pronouncing itself to me. And there's a need to like take a level of personal accountability with that. And I'm saying this to you, Aquarius, not just saying you're the only one who needs to do it, or cross watcher, because you're the one who's watching me. I can't say this to your person of interest unless they're watching me too somehow, right? But I'm saying it to you because you're here to hear it. But I feel that's really the thing with both of you. So it's almost to me that both of you are going to stay stuck in this energy, right? Because it's a blocked energy. Both of you are in the reverse, right? Like you guys are going to stay in this blocked energy until the two of you come to the realization of this. And what I can kind of, fast track this feels like a soul session right now, but how I can kind of fast track you with this is there's a need to dip down into your emotional space. You're in your mental space, even though you guys are an air sign, but I feel like you guys have vacated to the dark side of your proverbial sword, right? To self-protect, because the emotions quite possibly could have been too overwhelming or too painful, but there's a need to go back to that, you know what I'm saying, and really look at it. You know what I mean? And kind of start sorting through things and looking at the bigger picture, like seeing both sides of it as opposed to just seeing it from your perspective. Now, y'all know, and some Aquariuses be getting mad when I say this, but therapists can be used for different things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you just need to talk stuff out and you just need an unbiased, you know, person to kind of hear you out, to get all of your thoughts out so you get a clear picture. I mean, you could do 2, 3, you know, 4 maybe sessions with a therapist just to kind of get clarity on the situation, for you to kind of get to a place of understanding with what happened in this particular you know, connection, in so many words. Because it's not necessarily about, and I'm saying this just overall generally, it's not doing that necessarily for this person or to reconcile with this person. It's not necessarily about that. It's just for yourself and for future connections that you may be in, right? But anywho, getting into our more specific spread with your person of interest, if you care. But the first card we have in their fleeting thoughts, we have the 8 of Cuppies. What is going on with my lighting? Then we have, oh, child. We have the Tower in the reverse. That's Scorpio energy. Then we have, wow, child, y'all got a lot going on. Let me cover up the peen. A lot going on there. We have the Devil. I know he's naked, sorry. And that's Capricorn energy. And in their conscious thoughts towards you, interesting. We have the Lovers. Is that a boob? Yes, that is boobs. We have the Lovers in the reverse, and that's Gemini energy. Wow. There's 3 major arcanas in their headspace. So starting out with this 8 of Cups here, Aquarius, something I can tell you is you and your person of interest, y'all have been in a toxic pattern, bro. And with your person, their perception towards you with this 8 of Cups is like same shit, different day, right? So it's kind of the thought, and I'm saying you guys are in a toxic pattern, meaning if you guys are separated, not necessarily saying legally separated with like a whole marriage or whatever, but just if you guys are kind of on a break, this isn't the first time this has happened, right? I said something similar to Libra. So if you have that in your chart, most certainly check that out. No, that wasn't Libra. That was Pisces, my bad. So if, you know, that's your person, or if you have that in your chart, definitely check it out. But there's a repeated pattern of this. So their perception of you is the thought of, if I go back to them, right? It's like we're just going to go around the mulberry bush again. So it's like a continuous cycle. Now, here's the thing. What I can say in Alexa gonna leave me alone, child. But what, girl? Anyway, so the thing that I can say with this is, and this is interesting, with where it is that you guys are overall. Oh my God, I'm gonna punch Alexa in the face. But where it is that you guys are, your overall energy, and I talked about this in Pisces as well, and if you've been with me for some time, you've heard me say this many times. There's been a breakdown in intimacy in this relationship, meaning that at some point in you guys' partnership, one of you stopped believing that the other person had your best interest at heart. Whenever intimacy breaks down, like with one person, the other person in the partnership immediately follows suit, right? And no matter if you're together 30 years, so say if intimacy breaks down after y'all been together for, you know, a year, right? You could be together for 30 years after that. Intimacy broke down in year 1 of your marriage. So how I was saying with your person of interest, like their emotions are stuffed down, put in a Rubbermaid container in the bottom of a deep freezer. It's like, that's when the relationship dies, even if you're together for an extended period after that. So I feel this energy that you guys are in, this has been, you know, existing for some time. There has been a lot of back and forth, but it's almost like we keep coming back to the same shit, and which is why there's always this breakdown and this separation. So things could be fine for a while, but it's almost like, well, I'm gonna have to recommend a book, child. Hold Me Tight by Sue Johnson. She talks about the demon dialogues in that book. And that's like when in a relationship, you keep having like an argument repeatedly, but it's always coming back to this one hurt. It's this one thing that this person did. And it's no matter how much you try to talk about it, it's like you can never come to resolution with it, you know? But with your person of interest, when they're looking at you, it's the thought of like all of this is going to start all over again, right? Which is what I'm pretty sure they've thought a million times, but you guys still be going back and forth, right? And I feel with this coming into this tower in the reverse, in some sense, they feel like they kind of dodged a bullet. So the vibe I'm getting with this Aquarius is your person of interest may have potentially been the one who initiated the breakup, or was the person who left the situation. And their thought of it is, we keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, I'm going to cut my losses, in so many words, right? So as opposed to, you know, if you look at however long y'all have been together, it's been several towers that have crumbled, you know, police being called, child, I don't know, you know, whatever. Like big blowouts that have happened before you guys hit the fever pitch. I feel your person of interest pulled the plug and they exited out to prevent you guys coming from the big blow up that you typically end up coming into. Now, what's interesting with this devil here, your person feels you have not, well, I don't mean to say feels because we're in thinking, but your person is more or less thinking that there hasn't really been a change in you. So their perception is more or less like you being stuck in your ways. So that kind of gives me the thought, mind you, this is information that they're weighing. So the picture this gives me overall is your person may very well be considering reaching back out to you, you guys working stuff out, them coming back, whatever the case. But this is all of the stuff that they're thinking about in reference to the next, you know, move or actions that they make, is the thought that we've been here before. We've done this 1,000 times. We've been here before, right? I'm trying to keep things from getting as bad as they were before. However, it's like, have they really changed? You know what I'm saying? But now what I can tell you is the issue with this, right, is I'm not seeing anything of them thinking about their contributions in reference to this, right? Granted, the spread is designed for them to be focused on you, but there's still the potential for energy. Oh, good God. What the? Wow. Okay. Hold on a second. Oh, my word. Aquarius, I hope that is it. I don't know what is happening. Like the same thing was happening with Pisces. It's just like a million distractions, but that literally scared me to death. That was my kid at the door. There was a giant lizard and he was trying to kick the door to scare the lizard and scared his mother. But anyway, Aquarius. But getting back to what we were saying about your person of interest, like with the devil card, it's more or less them feeling like you're stuck in less than stellar patterns. And if I backstep a little bit, how I was saying how their energy is very much focused on you and what it is that you're doing, that's always a time where I look forward to the subconscious impression / projection card. Because whenever a person is viewing things very one-sided, like as if the other person is the problem, like you're doing this, you're doing that, so on and so forth. A lot of times that has a lot to do with stuff about themselves that they're not seeing, but we'll get to that in a second. But overall, just kind of recapping this, it is a toxic pattern you guys are in. You're going around the mulberry bush. I did recommend Sue Johnson's book. I'll link that in the description box below. Is literally like couples therapy in a book. I kid you not. It's a book I recommend to my clients in therapy a lot because it helps you. It's emotion focused therapy. It helps you to really understand the root cause and problems in relationships in so many words. However, when we're getting into their conscious thoughts being the lovers in the reverse, they're reluctant to make a decision. So that kind of says to me, looking back at this justice, the energy between the two of you, I feel that both of you guys are kind of in limbo. But like I said, I don't feel like this is the first time that you guys have been here. I feel with your person, there's as much as a pull, like I was saying with this bond that you felt with this person, as much as a pull that you feel towards them, they feel towards you as well. Even though they're viewing the connection with you as like toxic and going in circles and things of the sort, I really feel very much so that there's a part of them that wants to go back. Hence the reason why they're weighing all of this. Because like I said before, I really feel this person is considering like reaching back out to you, but it's kind of like weighing the options of this. It's like, the same thing's going to happen again. Oh, they haven't changed and so on and so forth. So they're kind of ambivalent at the moment and not necessarily sure of what direction they're going to go in. But I feel very much so this person is putting a lot of the blame on you. You know what I mean? I very much get that vibe. They're putting a lot of the blame on Aquarius as to why it is that you guys are like this. So it's almost this perception of, if you change or if you're different, we wouldn't have these problems. But, I got out of this because, before things blew up, because if I would have stayed, then Aquarius would have been the one to kind of blow things up, because that's how, stuff is always going or whatever. But what they are consciously aware of, because like I say, fleeting thoughts is things that they're kind of mulling through. But what they're consciously aware of is that they don't know what decision they want to make in reference to this connection. So Aquarius, if you were looking for some sentiment of clarity with this person, at least, in August going into early September. So I'd say from between the 15th of August to the 15th of September, I don't necessarily feel that you're going to get it. I feel that they're going to kind of stay in this ambivalent place, because I don't know, it's like a pseudo clarity that they have. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not seeing the whole picture, which is why that message was coming out in the beginning of the fact that both of you need to come to a realization about something. Because with your person of interest, is looking to me that they're not seeing their own fault. Well, I mean, damn, it's kind of like that for both of you. Because I could see how on Aquarius's side, you could be looking at this person and perceiving them as the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like we keep ending up here because of XYZ. But on the other side of the sword, pun intended, right? There's, if Aquarius didn't XYZ, then we wouldn't be here. It's like both people are contributing to this unhealthy cycle in this partnership. You know what I'm saying? So that cycle has to be broken on both ends in order for things to be different moving forward. But as it stands right now, consciously, they're still very much confused and not sure how it is they want to move forward. In so many words, they're not sure if they want to, come back or fix this or, reconcile it, or if they want to, move on and just like kind of cut their losses, in so many words, right? Now, with their subconscious impression, oh, wonderful. We have the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. Now, this is interesting. This is dead ass like co-signing what it is I was seeing in their cards. So your person of interest is a person that doesn't really put a lot of time, energy, or effort into the connection between the two of you. I can tell you that flat out. When it comes to like effort in the relationship, they're not even necessarily trying to meet you halfway. You know what I'm saying? They're not putting in a lot of work to try to resolve conflicts or understand where you're coming from, clearly communicate, or we're arguing right now, like, you take a break, I'm going to take a walk, let's come back and like talk about this, right? Now, how this would look in the form of a projection is exactly what I was saying with their fleeting and conscious thoughts. They would be looking at Aquarius as if you're not doing enough. You feel what I'm saying? At the root of them, there's this reluctance to commit. And like, well, let me explain it this way. The reason why they don't put so much effort into the relationship is the root of that is a reluctance for them to fully commit or be fully invested in something, even if they are committed to you. You know what I'm saying? So for some of you, this could be like a situationship. For others of you, this could be a marriage, or it could be a long-term committed relationship. But even though you have the title with this person, right? It's emotionally, they're not invested, or financially, they're not invested. It's almost kind of like a roommate type of situation where the two of you are together, but it's like you keep your money separate. You don't necessarily commingle things. Not saying that there aren't things that are commingled, but it's almost like two of you live kind of very separate lives in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Or there's parts of this person or their doings and things of the sort that you may not know much about. And the reason for that distance is because them within themselves have a fear of being fully, all in with something. So it's almost as if they're approaching stuff from like 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Like, I look at the Eight of Pentacles, my definition of this card is like the sloppy craftsman. You know what I'm saying? It's like the employee that comes to work, does the absolute bare minimum, and rides the clock just to get a paycheck type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here, I work here, love the company. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like they're not really 100% in. You feel what I'm saying? But the motivating factor for them with this is a fear of like being all in, right? With this falling into their subconscious, this is something about themselves that they're not consciously aware of, which means, Aquarius, when you look at this person, watch their behavioral patterns, these are all of the things that you're seeing. Everyone who knows them sees this very clearly, right? But it's just like our shadow, right? Like your literal shadow, like it's behind you. You're walking down the street and the sun is out. You have no idea that your shadow is back there, right? But everyone else can see it except for this person, right? So they don't perceive themselves that way. They don't know this to be a truth about themselves. So how they rationalize this in reference to you and thus project their own shadow onto you is they're rationalizing like, you're toxic and you're selfish and you're focused on yourself, and you're not putting any energy into this relationship. You're not trying to work with me or hear this out. And I I feel for Aquarius, you hearing this would be perplexing. It's like, what are you talking about? Are we in the same relationship? Like, how are you not seeing that this is an issue? You feel what I'm saying? So with this person, they have, and I don't want to just like throw it out as like attachment issues, but it really is that it's in it. Because I feel, for me, I can say non-committal, but I feel like non-committal is like a pop culture kind of term. Like a person who's non-committal, it is so much deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is that attachment style? Not anxious attachment, avoidant attachment. It's like this person has like avoidant attachment. And people who have avoidant attachment are not people who sequester themselves and don't fraternize and gallivant with others. They will literally get into romantic partnerships, but it's almost like the Atlantic Ocean lies between the two partners. So everything in their behaviors and in their speech and everything will say that they want to be in a partnership, because again, we're talking conscious mind, right? Consciously, this person's self-perception and what they feel their desires are is like, of course I want this. But their subconscious is, seated on this throne of, we not letting nobody close to us. We're not getting too invested. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the program that's running underneath it. And that's where the sabotage happens. So every single time the relationship comes to a point to where there's supposed to be depth, all of a sudden this chaos just comes out of nowhere, right? Now, being on the receiving end of this, you're perplexed, like, why does this always happen? Or how come every time, when it's time for us to, try to have a baby, or every time we go to look for houses, or every time, we're supposed to go to the SPCA to look at dogs, it's like some big, huge argument ends up happening, right? And on the receiving end of that, you could feel this person is purposefully doing this, But with this showing up in this person's subconscious, they're not even aware of the self-sabotage that they're implementing, right? And it's like that sabotage is implemented each time because they're trying to prevent themselves from getting close. Whenever they sense the relationship is getting to, a certain level that's uncomfortable for them, bam, something's always going to happen. But in this person's mind, they're seeing it as you not being as invested or putting enough work into the partnership, and as if they're being neglected and overlooked, when I know in reality that's exactly how Aquarius could potentially feel. You feel what I'm saying? Now their feelings towards you, oh gee, we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So much like I was saying, Aquarius, at least from now, from the 15th of August up until the 15th of September, I don't see this person moving from where they're at right now. They're not really going to put any effort into this. And you guys would have to tell me in the chat or in the comments, because what I'm kind of feeling with this, I don't know if there's some type of time frame with this. That's what I'm picking up on. I don't know what that could be for. The only thing to me logically I could think of is like, I don't know, like signing divorce papers or something, because I know it's like a time frame that you have with that, like to sign papers and stuff. But I feel some it's like some overreaching time frame or something with this. So, and I'm saying this from the perspective of like, Aquarius, you watching this reading because you want answers or some insight or clarity into your situation. I feel what would bring you here, or the little unction that made you click on this video, is because there's like a due date or a time frame that's coming up soon. I mean, it could be, renewing a lease. You know what I'm saying? You could have like, maybe you and this person live together and it's coming up on time to renew the lease, and you're trying to figure out like, what are they doing? Because like, should I renew the lease here, or do I need to move and go get like a 1-bedroom? You know what I'm saying? It's something like that. But something I can tell you is, at least within the next month, I don't really see this person making any moves towards you, because they're not really sure on what it is that they want to do. They're not sure if the relationship in totality is worth the investment, if they want to go around the mulberry bush again. Do they want to be with you? Do they want to even be in a relationship? But overall, what I'm seeing with this that's very concerning in the feeling space with this Knight of Pentacles being here is the fact of them not being willing to do the work that's necessary in order for this to work. Because what I can tell you, big picture, is in order for this relationship to work, like I was saying, and you guys, overall, it's a level of clarity that both people in this partnership need to come into. Both people need to admit where they were wrong. They need to identify the problem behaviors that they're engaging in that's contributing to the problems in the relationship, right? And there has to be almost like a commonality that both of you would have to come to in a pact that's made to change the behaviors that's contributing to the dysfunction in the relationship, and moving forward with a like-minded goal. You feel what I'm saying? But the problem with that right now, and I'm just assuming and being nice because, Aquarius, you watching me, that Aquarius would be willing to do those things, right? But with your person of interest, what I'm seeing in their cards, I don't see them as willing to do that, because they have yet to come to the place of accepting that they could even be a part of the problem, right? As it stands now, they're seeing Aquarius as the problem, and Aquarius isn't going to change. So I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to work on this again or whatever. There's nothing here that's saying of them having self-insight of seeing how they've contributed to the problem. And that's a big issue. You feel what I'm saying? Because like, how is it that we can fix our relationship if you believe the problem with our relationship is me? And it's like, I just need to fix myself, but you don't need to do nothing because you Gucci. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I say the biggest hurdle with this is this person's lack of, self-awareness in reference to this. and them not having the desire to do the work that's necessary, you know. But all of this, like I said, it goes back to the truth about this person. This person is a very detached, non-committal, not wanting to put the effort in, like the necessary work and commitment that's required in a relationship. This person is the antithesis of that. You know what I'm saying? They're very self-focused. They're very numero uno, if that's making sense. I hope and pray that that makes sense, Aquarius. And I apologize for all of the distractions. I also apologize for your reading being so long, because I know y'all don't be having time for that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and throw the dice of resonance. Go ahead and ask a yes or no question. I can't stop making faces when I do this. All right. So we have female, we have Aries, we have moon, we have Sag, we have family. And the answer to your question is hell no. To the no, 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 hell no. See if you guys can see it. Yeah, it says hell no. So again, it's female, Aries, moon, so and Sag. So it could be Aries moon or Sag moon. We have family, and the answer to your question is hell no. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, my wonderful Aquarius sisters, that has been your connection for August. Most certainly let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than